Hi, welcome to Juice Bar. Today we're gonna mix the Cheshire Cat. So the Cheshire Cat is a cocktail by Georgia Billing that she developed while working at the Looking Glass bar in London. Of course, the Cheshire Cat being a character from Alice in Wonderland, which is connected to Through the Looking Glass. Anyway, this cocktail has 1,000 ingredients. Sounds really complicated, but I really wanted to use some of my rosemary sprig from my garden here on my terrace, and it looks like a good application for that. What I'm gonna mix today is an adaptation of the original recipe proposed by Simon Difford. The original recipe had a lot of really custom ingredients. I'm gonna make this recipe that has more common bottles in it. So let's get down to mixing. This should be really a thrown cocktail, but I'm not really into throwing. Throwing meaning like, you know, doing like stuff like that. I will just shake this cocktail, and let's start with cinnamon sugar, 5 milliliters, so 1 teaspoon of this. Then we go with the vermouth. Original recipe called for Puntames. I don't have Puntames, but I have a good success using Antica Formula in most of the recipe that calls for Puntames, and actually I usually prefer it. If at the end we are lacking some bitterness, we can say that it was the fault of our choice of vermouth, but hopefully we will be fine. So 15 milliliters of Antica Formula. Then we go on with cherry herring, the cherry liqueur from Denmark, 50 milliliters of this one too. And then for our main alcohol combination, some blended scotch, 20 milliliters of Dewar's 12, while I have Dewar's 8 illegal smooth, which I think it's really nice. Yes, this nice mezcal finish to it. It shouldn't really bother us in the end, and I actually think it should taste good. And then we finish with the Rémy Martin cognac, and we're gonna have 45 milliliters of cognac. There you go. I forgot one thing. A rosemary sprig inside the shaker. Let's give it a quick taste to see where we are going. You know what? It is a bit sweet. Let's add 1 teaspoon of Cynar, just to compensate for the lack of Puntames. So we are gonna add back some bitterness. Now let's give this bad boy a shake. Let's get an ice cube in our old-fashioned glass. Let me smoothen out this ice. There you go. Perfection. Let's strain over ice. Oh, that was dumb. That was really dumb. If I could get away without fine straining, but that's not the case. Let's replay. Let's get our ice out. And let's fine strain this time. Oh. Then for the decoration we have a lot of things to do if we follow the instruction. One thing is another rosemary sprig, which I'm gonna tap like that and put here on the side. Another thing is a bit of lemon peel, which I'm also gonna slide here. And then some burning cinnamon. Let's see if I can get some without triggering the fire alarm. Ooh. And there you go, our Cheshire Cat. Cheers! Quite herbal, quite nice. I can feel the sweetness of the cherry herring. I think the teaspoon of Cynar was needed to give a slight more bitterness at the back flavor of the thing. The combination of whiskey and brandy works out. I don't know if it's really needed, the whiskey. Let me try one more sip. Because there are so many things going on. But I think that I can actually feel a bit of the maltiness of the whiskey in the background. You can definitely feel the cinnamon sugar. Also because you have the cinnamon flavor coming up from the burnt cinnamon stick, combined with a lot of rosemary. I love rosemary, so I really appreciate that. It makes it taste a lot more like an amaro based cocktail than it really is. I mean, we have 1 teaspoon of Cynar I put, but this tastes like he has 20-30 milliliters of amaro because of the rosemary component and cinnamon component. Yeah, it's really good. Maybe you could dial back slightly the cherry herring. I feel it a bit too sweet. But this is a really interesting combination. It could be a great base for more experimentation. Good job, the Cheshire Cat. So if you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe, comment down below, share with anybody you like and don't like. Steal yourself something based around Alice in Wonderland or Through the Looking Glass. And hopefully, I will see you next time. Cheers. By the way, when my son was born, it was 15 years ago, so there was no Disney Plus, anything. We still had DVDs back then. And I was like, let's try and watch some Disney movies with our small kid. That's what you do with small kids, no? I was thought so. So I like, let's order something. And first thing I ordered was Alice in Wonderland. And my wife was like, why do you want to show this movie to our kid? I'm like, because it's good. And then I realized it's a really trippy movie. It really looks like an LSD-induced movie. It looks like something that came out in the 60s, late 60s, you know, a mushroom-induced psychedelic nightmare. But it really, if I'm not mistaken, it's from the early 50s. It was 1951. So far ahead of its time. Amazing. Yeah, that movie is something. So beautiful drawn. So like snappy. So fast. It really gives this anxiety thing. Yeah, maybe that's why my wife didn't want to show it to our kid. A bit because she's in trouble all the time. There are all these characters which don't understand their feelings at all focused on themselves. And yes, a bit of that Kafkan thing going on. Yeah, it reminds me of one of my favorite movies, which is After Hours by Martin Scorsese. It's a bit like that. Character on this adventure, out of place, going from place to place, without any aim or reason, just like really confused about what's going on. I love that kind of movie. In fact, when I wrote a book, I did write a book, it's only in Italian, sorry, but the book I wrote, which is called La tristezza del petto di pollo nipponico, the sadness of the Japanese chicken breast, I wrote it just after the big earthquake we had in northern Japan in 2011. There was a bit of an experience. I mean, didn't suffer any real damage directly, our family, but we went back to Italy, then we came back here. It was a whole process, and let's say I got a bit feeling down, and so I wrote this book. And when I thought about writing this book, I thought like, let's base it on hard-boiled novels and After Hours. That was the idea behind it. I think it's okay. I mean, when I look back at it, it's myself of like more than 10 years ago, and I was still so mad about things. Now I don't care. I drink.